Hey guys, I hope you're doing great today. This is our chapter number 10, in which we are going to discuss one of the most important topics, and it is about Azure Security. Guys, you know that every IT company or every IT organization is concerned about security, whether it's about network security or data security or your infrastructure security. Security plays a crucial role everywhere. We know that. And therefore, Azure also provides security tools so that we can securely manage and build our resources on Azure Cloud. So, this would be our chapter number 10. And before we proceed, make sure that you have subscribed DevOps Molvi. Let's get started with today's headline, and it is about Azure being the highly secure cloud platform. Okay, Azure is highly secure cloud platform with a focus to protect our data through every means, and it's all about our data protection. So it means that Azure is highly secure cloud platform, and it protects our information, it protects our data. Whatever we build would be secure. So, first of all, guys, talking about security, we must know about RBAC. RBAC stands for Role Based Access Control. And RBAC is used everywhere. We have RBAC roles in Kubernetes. We have RBAC in Google Cloud Platform and also in AWS. RBAC stands for Role Based Access Control, and it helps us to manage who has access to Azure resources, what they can do with those resources, and what areas they have access to. That is the purpose of role based access. And with the help of RBAC, we assign specific roles to the users. For instance, I'm a DevOps engineer and I must have access to the Azure virtual machines. So there would be a role of maybe admin role that can be assigned to my user, and after that, I would be able to create new virtual machines or modify the current virtual machines. That's what a role does. And a role definition is a collection of permissions. So it means that I would have the permissions to create, to modify, to delete virtual machines. Now, it depends on my administrator, my senior administrator, who is assigning a role to my user, right? Are you getting my point? For instance, let me share another example. If a DevOps intern, Azure DevOps intern joins our company, and after he or she joins the company, we are giving him or her the role, only read role to view our cloud resources like virtual machine on our Azure cloud. So, a read role would be assigned with the help of Azure RBAC, and after that, that user would be only able to view the virtual machines on our Azure cloud. So that's what role does. So we can have read role, edit role, administrator role. Admin role is the most powerful role. For instance, if my user has administrator access, I can do whenever I want. I can create new virtual machines. I can terminate virtual machines. I can modify virtual machines if I have admin role. So, a role definition is a collection of permissions. A role is the collection of permissions, and those permissions can be read, write, and delete that can be performed. So if a user has all those permissions, it means that that user can view the resources, can modify or terminate the resources. Azure RBAC has over 120 built-in roles. We can create our own custom roles. So whenever we create an account on Azure, we get around 100 plus 120 to be exact built-in roles that we can use for security. But if I want to have custom roles created, I can do as well. So that is what RBAC, role-based access, And a role consists of certain permissions like read permissions, edit permissions, delete permissions. We can create the role with these permissions and we can assign those roles to any user we want. After that, guys, how is role-based access control applied to resources? That should be a question in your mind, that if I am a user, DevOps Molvi, and how RBAC is going to assign to my user. So role-based access control is applied to a scope, which is a resource or set of resources that this access applies to. Now, there is another term we are going to discuss, and it is scope. So it means that a role-based access control, or RBAC, is applied to a scope, and a scope can be a resource or a set of resources. Now from here, it would be more convenient to understand that you can see a scope can be on the left. You can see a scope can be a management group, a subscription, a resource group, or a resource. Now, this is the definition of scope. I have also a dedicated slide on scope, but for now, you must have this concept clear, that a scope can be a management group, a scope can be a subscription, a scope can be a resource group, or a scope can be a resource like virtual machine, right? So we can assign these roles. Now you can see I have defined the roles like reader role, or a custom resource specific role, custom role, contributor, or administrator like owner role. We can assign all these roles to the scopes. Now guys, there is one important concept, and also this is a use case of having roles. For instance, if I have an admin role and I attach this admin role to a management group, so by default or automatically, all the subscriptions, resource groups, and resources within that management group will have that admin role. Let me repeat it again. If I attach administrator role to any management group, and when I apply that role, it means that everything underneath that management group will have automatically the admin role with every resource, with every subscription, with every resource group. I hope that you got my point. So that's why roles can be used. We can attach roles to the management group. We can attach roles to the subscription. We can attach roles to the resource group. And if we talk about the lowest hierarchy, I can attach directly it to a virtual machine or virtual network or database. So in short, a scope can be a management group, a subscription resource group, or a resource. We can attach read, write, custom role, or owner role, administrator role to any scope at any given time. Now, what is a scope? In Azure, a scope defines the level at which a policy, permission, or action is applied or enforced, ranging from a single resource to a management group. That's what we have discussed in the previous slide, that a resource can be a virtual machine, a resource can be a storage account, a resource can be a subscription. So all these resources can be considered as scopes, or a scope can be a management group. A scope can be a single resource, resource group, subscription, or management group. Now, guys, what is zero trust model? And it is simply explained as never trust, always verify. And also, I have shared the example that we always verify a call received by an unknown number, right? This is true. So we don't trust, we need a verification. In Azure, the zero trust model operates on the principle of never trust, always verify. That means that we should not trust any user. We should not trust any employee of that same IT organization. He or she should verify himself or herself before accessing the resources on our cloud. So that's why every access request is treated as potentially hostile, requiring strict verification and authorization. even for internal users and resources. It does not mean that if I am the employee of any IT company and I don't need to verify myself. No, that's not the case. We have to. We have to verify. We have to identify ourselves because Azure has zero trust model, because Azure does not trust us, and we have to prove our identification. We have to prove ourselves that we have the correct credentials to view or to access those resources. So that's what zero trust model is. And guys, talking about security, this is one of the most simplest and important diagrams, and it is offered by Azure. That's how, because they want to show us that how they are securing our information, how they are protecting our data. Now you can see there are a number of layers here, and here's our data running our application, etc. The objective of defense in depth is to protect information through every means. And it means that Azure makes sure our data is protected, our information is secure through every means. Physical security, like boundary walls of data center, identity and access of the employees who are working there, and perimeter building. So the network security, firewall, security groups, compute resources security, and then we have our application running on those compute resources, and after that we have data. Now you can see there can be one, two, three, four, five, and six layers. Then our data is accessible. And guys, after that we have Microsoft Defender for cloud. Just like we have antivirus installed on our system, I would like to share the basic example. What does that antivirus do? It protects our system from threats, from viruses. It keeps an eye on every malicious file, on every executable file. Our antivirus detects that that certain file could harm our system. It removes it. It potentially removes all the threats that our system can face later. So that's what Microsoft Defender for Cloud does. It is a monitoring tool for security posture management and threat protection. It means that it protects our systems, our virtual machines, our data, our application from any external threats. It monitors our cloud, on premises, hybrid, and multi cloud environments. It also provides guidance and notifications aimed at strengthening our security posture. It means that it gives us suggestions how we can improve the security of our cloud environment. And not only we can monitor our Azure cloud, we can also monitor hybrid, on-prem, and multi-cloud environments using Microsoft Defender. So in short, Microsoft Defender is a monitoring tool, and it is used to protect our system for malicious threats. It protects our cloud environment for any external threats. And guys, Microsoft Defender works on these three mechanisms. The first is assessment. Second is security, and then defense. So first of all, continuously assess. It means that continuous monitoring. It knows our security posture. It always keeps identifying and tracking vulnerabilities. Continuous assessment of all our cloud resources. And then it secures our resources and services with Azure Security Benchmark. And after that, if there are any threats, it defends and resolves all those threats that our resources can face, that our workloads can face on our Azure or on-prem or hybrid cloud environments. So it means that Microsoft Defender continuously assesses our resources. It continuously keeps an eye for any security breaches, any security leaks, and if there are any security problems, it fixes them as well. And also, it defends our workloads, our data against any malicious threats. Continuous assessment, continuous security, and defense. So Microsoft Defender works on these three principles, I must say: assess, secure, and defend. I hope that you have a clear concept of assessment, security, and defense. And that's it for today, guys. I hope that you have a clear understanding of Azure Security. It was just a basic overview of Azure Security and how role-based access work, how Microsoft Defender monitors our resources, and we are going to deep dive in our upcoming lectures about Azure Security. Azure Security is the one of the most important fields. If you want to have a security specialty in Azure, I would strongly recommend it. I will see you in the next chapter of Azure Cost Management. Make sure that you subscribe DevOps Molvi, and we are just 3 chapters away for completing our Azure AZ-900 fundamentals course. See you. Have a good one. Bye.